Compadre, I hope you're doing awesome. I hope your life is just amazing. Today, I want to talk about Buddhism and how it changed my life. But before that, I want to tell you the story of Buddhism itself. Because you might think that Buddhism is all about flowers, peace, and things like that, karma, you might say. But it's even deeper. I don't think that you know this, or maybe that you do, but Buddha was a real person. I mean, it wasn't a fictional character that was an idea, a concept. He was really a he was a real person, and I want to tell you his story so that you can comprehend how helpful Buddhism really is. So his story starts in the 6th century before Christ. Buddha wasn't always Buddha. Before he became known as Buddha, meaning the enlightened one, he was known as Siddhartha Gautama. He was a prince in the royal family in Lumbini, which is modern day Nepal. As he was growing up, his father tried to protect him from all the outside events, you might say, and the suffering that was going on at that time. So he grew up in comfort, surrounded by beauty, and was married to a princess named Yasodhara, which with whom he had a son. However, despite his father's efforts to protect him, Siddhartha became curious about the world outside the palace and beyond the walls. So one day he ventured outside and he saw four sights that would change his life forever. The first sight was the one of an old man, being a reminder of the inevitable aging process. The second sight was that of a sick man, showing the painful reality of illness. The third sight was that of a dead man, which made him confront the reality of death. And the fourth sight was that of a holy man, a wandering ascetic who had renounced the material world in search for spiritual enlightenment. These four sights deeply disturbed Siddhartha, and this is how he began to question everything around him. What he questioned most intensely was how suffering came to be and how suffering can be stopped. So, this is how, at the age of 29, he left his luxurious life of a prince. He became an ascetic, practicing extreme self denial and self control. For years, he searched answers to the nature of suffering, the path to liberation, and how dissatisfaction came to be. So one day he started meditating under a Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, India, and he vowed not to rise until he had discovered the truth. After days of intense meditation, he had a moment of profound insight, and this is when he achieved enlightenment. After this, he realized the true nature of suffering, its cause, and the path to cessation. From that moment on, Siddhartha was known as Buddha, meaning the enlightened one. He then began to teach to others what he had discovered. He came up with the Four Noble Truths, which were the foundation of his teachings. These are the dukkha, meaning that suffering exists in life, the samudaya, meaning that suffering comes from cravings and desires, nirodha, meaning that suffering can cease when desires and cravings are stopped, and magga, which is the path to the ceasing of, which means that the path of ceasing suffering is through the Noble Eightfold Path. This includes practices which helps people overcome suffering and even achieve enlightenment, such as right speech, right action, right mindfulness, right meditations, and there's more. Before his death, Buddha emphasized that his teachings should be a guide for all future generations, instead of honing him as a divine figure. So he encouraged his followers to rely on Dharma, which is the truth, and to be their own light. Now that I told you Buddha's story and how it really came to be, I want to tell you this philosophy's impact on my life. I'm gonna start with a quote that I heard a long time ago and which was always there to remind me of what's truly important. The quote goes like this: the level of your suffering is equal to the level of your expectations. So, since I had known myself, I was getting too attached and I was desiring things that I couldn't control, such as someone's opinion on me or a result that I was waiting for, you might say. And what I was soon to realize is that how much attached I am to a certain thing is how much pain and suffering will that thing bring me when it will be gone. Because, like every other thing on this world, it will be gone. So, I'm not here to say that you have to become insensible or disconnected from reality. What I'm here to tell you is that what being detached really means is really a state of being that allows you to act with compassion and with discernment, not only towards you, but towards other people around you too. And when I realized this, I stopped becoming attached to things aren't, that are not in my control. So of course I'm still attached to my goals, to my purpose, and to everything that's in this sphere of my life. But what's outside of this, what's not in my control, it's just not worthy of my attachment to it. Because, as I said, attachment brings suffering. Wait, let me do my magic. This this shit right here is blessed. It's just the best thing that I could do. I don't even know how is it called in English. So this shit right here, it's called marigold cream. But anyways, continuing with my experience. So after realizing that being detached is not really so bad after all, and it brings you into a state of being, into a state of clarity, better, that lets you evolve like never before. But not really evolve. What's more important is that while you evolve, you enjoy your evolution and your becoming. You simply enjoy the process. And this, for me, is the most sustainable approach, you might say, to achieving anything in life. So not being detached, so not being attached to what's outside your control, to gain a state of clarity that lets you act with compassion and discernment towards yourself and towards other people, and just falling in love with the process. It sounds a cliche. I mean, it is a cliche, but another way to put it is to fall in love with the person you're becoming. I really think this is the best way to live your life. To live your life, not just survive it, but to live it. And to even get closer to accomplishing your purpose day after day. And with that, the level of your enjoyment of this life. I hope that you'll try being detached once in a while and see if it works for you. As I don't know how it might work on other people, but if it works on me, it has to work on other people too. So this was today's lesson, and I hope you really got something out of it. As I said in the beginning of the video, I hope you're doing awesome. I hope your day is awesome, and I hope your whole life is looking good. So I'll see you in the next one. Peace.